What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Comics and Coffee. It's Wednesday. The two of us are back together again to talk about comic books. I am freshly back from Gen Con, and we have all sorts of exciting things to talk to you about today.
Yeah, I feel like it's been like, I don't know, it feels like it's been a month since we've done this show. It hasn't been.
It hasn't been, but like I missed an episode, you missed an episode.
Comic-Con happened, Gen Con happened. It's been crazy.
Oh man, what a wild couple weeks.
I know.
I had a show finale in there and then another show at Gen Con.
It's been nonstop.
You told me you needed some coffee. So let's start this by me pouring Adam some wonderful brew here. Adam, I also got you another present that I didn't tell you about.
What?
Pull that forward, buddy. I like surprises. I ordered you some Kansas City style burnt ends for today's Comics and Coffee. And I already got you ready a little bit of award-winning barbecue sauce for the fries. I suggest dipping the fries in there. Comic book time. Yes.
Comics and Coffee and barbecue.
And barbecue, baby.
Oh, God.
That's an extra large burnt end sandwich on white bread right there.
Woo! Is this that place that you kept talking about that you were like so hyped on that you were like, this is one of the greatest places ever?
Because I finally found Kansas City style out here.
We're going to rename the show Comics, Coffee, and Barbecue because this is probably going to become a weekly trend until we're both broke beyond recognition.
I'm already broke beyond recognition, man. There's no coming back from the broke that I am. It's done.
We're both screwed.
And the coffee I'm making today was actually coffee sent to us from a Thumper.
Oh, awesome!
For Christmas. I've just been going through all my bags of coffee, and I finally got it. It's a Boston blend.
I love how you and I were just talking about in the car today how wild it is that it's already August.
It's wild.
And that we've lived here for 7 months, going into 8, and that's just proven so much more now. The fact that you just unbagged coffee from Christmas.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's wild.
So we're going to talk about all sorts of exciting stuff today. I picked up some fun stuff at Gen Con that is comic book related, comic book characters and stuff. Lots of amazing books came out. X-Men is still kicking so much ass. It's just so good.
It's so amazing.
It's so good. It's unreal how good it is. And... is it in the shot?
No, but it sounds too close.
Too close? How?
It doesn't sound good. I'm fixing it.
If it's too loud, we could fix that. Also, in the future, tell me before you're doing that because I will turn it down before all that sound gets transferred through the mic to the people at home. They heard that. For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
I want to ask you something.
No, Gaika, go for it.
What?
She was asking if I was going to ping Discord.
Oh. I want to ask you something. I don't know if you heard of this. So I was at a friend's house yesterday, and he also made coffee. It was cold. Just made cold coffee, but he added butter.
Oh, I don't do that, obviously.
Well, okay, so that part you know.
That's an LA thing.
So it was that and this stuff called MCT oil.
Yeah. I've done the MCT oil.
Yeah? What did you think? Just not your thing?
It's just a healthy thing. It's not like a... That's an LA thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I was like, you're putting what in my coffee? I was like hesitant. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what this is.
I call it bulletproof coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's called, yeah.
Yep.
I had no clue what it was, and I was like, are you putting drugs in my coffee? What's happening right now? He's like, no, man. I'm like, I don't know. You just call this out like it's something I'm supposed to know. I drink coffee out of Keurig most of the time, man. I don't know what you're doing.
There you go, buddy. Cheers.
Where's your cup?
I got it. I mean, it's gonna take me some time here. These are slow. This is a slow process, man.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
But yeah, it's been wild. I mean, I think today's like the most Zach and I have hung out in like 3 weeks or something. Yeah. Everyone's been gone. I was here for 5 days by myself, as you guys all know. That was fun. It was fun to just like hang out with you guys for a couple hours the other day, or last week, I guess. Kaiju and I just shot the shit together. He just whined a lot that there was nobody here to give him love. And now he couldn't give a damn that I'm here because his mom and dad are back. He just doesn't give a shit about me.
Well, actually, Malika's gone, which is why he's sitting over there by the gate.
That's true.
He's just sitting by the gate waiting for her to come back.
Just-
He doesn't give a shit about me being back. He'll use me at night to take him outside.
Yeah.
But he really doesn't care until
He definitely
Malika's
was
home.
very vocal about going to the bathroom.
Yep.
10 times a day. Right, Kaiju? Doesn't care.
Hey, I'm glad he's vocal and he doesn't piss and shit on things.
I mean, that's true. Except I would like take him out or let him out in the back, and he would just lay out there, depressed. Instead of
He
actually,
was just toying with you. He just wanted to go outside.
yeah, he just want to go outside. I'm like, I'll let you on the balcony. I'll take you for a walk. No, he just wants to go lay in the backyard in the sun and just be a depressed dog. It is what it is.
What else did you want to talk about today, Adam?
Well,
There was some comic book news, right? Well, superhero news.
Yeah, I'm
the
sure you
world.
can see the graphic behind us.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy kind of leaked this a few days ago because he accidentally posted this on Instagram and then like immediately took down
No
a photo of Andy Serkis.
It was a leak?
Yeah. But then they did confirm, where Andy Serkis confirmed it on his social media, that he's going to be directing Venom Part 2.
Whoa.
It was just a picture of him holding some Venom comics, which was cool. I'm intrigued by this choice to have Andy Serkis direct a Venom movie. I've watched movies that Andy Serkis is in, but I haven't seen too much stuff that he's directed. I didn't see Mowgli.
What has he? Oh, so Mowgli. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did Mowgli, the Warner Brothers Jungle Book movie.
Okay.
Which I heard was like okay, also kind of weird because all the faces for all the characters look somewhat human-esque.
Okay.
I don't know what else he's directed other than that. There's something I'm missing. I know there's something I'm missing, but I don't know exactly what. I think he's a great actor. I think he's an incredible performer. I think with movies like Black Panther and Prestige and all this other stuff that he's been in, we know he's a great actor when he's just Andy Serkis playing a character, but he is also an incredible motion capture character, whether it's been Gollum or Caesar or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what the story's going to be in this Venom sequel. I thought Venom 1 was fine. It was kind of stupid and ridiculous, but I wasn't really expecting some like...
You know who liked it more than anyone else I know?
Malika?
Yeah.
It was just weird and dumb, and that's why she loved it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was her kind of humor, too.
Yeah.
And she's
yeah.
like, I wanted more dick jokes. That was the first thing she
mean,
said. And I was
there's
like, what?
There's some stuff in there that I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to kind of like lean into like stupid jokes like this, but I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was dumb for dumb's sake. It's not... I just don't understand the Sony universe at all, because we have Morbius and then we have Venom, but then we have Tom Holland Spider-Man. None of it seems interconnected, but they always talk about like, well, it could always cross over someday. I'm like, just define it. Yes or no. Are we going to see Tom Hardy and Tom Holland, or are we not? They'll never tell us.
They don't want to define it. Come
So
on.
dumb. What is this?
Don't worry about that.
Okay.
That's their barbecue. This is a frog
Oh,
sauce.
this is Zach's barbecue?
No, not my barbecue. This is frog sauce.
Oh.
We buy this by the 2 gallons.
How many Kermits did you kill? Oh, shit. This is good.
Right? This was the sauce that we tasted at the American Royal last summer, and we now order it to our house. And
Is that giant barrel is in the fridge?
that giant 2-gallon jug? That's
Wow.
frog sauce. It is the best. When you taste award-winning barbecue sauce, you're like, oh, I understand that phrase now. I know why that
The
exists.
second it touched my mouth, I went, this is quality.
Okay.
This is what good shit's supposed to taste like.
Yum.
As 2 hours of eating.
It's so funny as you get older, the things that you get like excited by.
Barbecue sauce.
We have award-winning barbecue sauce here.
Hey man, the older you get, the realize the less time you have on this earth.
And you want to enjoy the finer things like barbecue sauce and pour over coffee at the same time. So outside of that, outside of the Venom news, the big news I know you were really excited about was the Kevin Conroy news as Batman. And I know I texted you already today because I saw that art that was circulating around on Twitter. It's fan art. I immediately thought it might be fan art because of the jawline had some weird photoshopping to it. But
A lot of foreshadows.
But I told Adam, like, I have a hard time telling these days because the studios themselves sometimes put out mock-ups that aren't as good as the fan mock-ups.
Yep.
So it's hard to know anymore what's real and what's not. It was the fan mock-up was Kevin Conroy's Terry McGinnis, which was
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. Sorry, I almost made a grave sin there. Terry McGinnis is Batman in that. But it
The
was Bruce
comments
Wayne.
almost came out.
I know. It's been years since I saw it, but I remember enough.
Yeah.
I remember enough.
Well, it was cool because they have like Bruce Wayne with the dog. He's sitting in the chair, and then behind him is the Terry McGinnis bat suit, or the Batman Beyond suit, which is really cool. It was a cool piece of fan art, but man, they're going all out for this crossover.
Don't you think that's probably what they're gonna do, though?
Oh, I'm waiting for them to announce.
That's what it's gonna be.
Will Friedle is gonna come in and play like an adult Terry McGinnis, or they're gonna.
I don't
get
think
Terry
they'll do
McGinnis.
that.
Probably not.
I don't think they'll do that, but they'll get someone to play Terry McGinnis. It'll be a young, like, heartthrob.
It would be so dope.
Will Friedle.
Why would you not?
I love Will, but they're gonna get some CW actor.
Probably.
But it's so cool that they got Kevin Conroy, and he's probably gonna do that.
Not only that, they're going so crazy on this. They have Burt Ward is going to be in it. I don't know if he's going to play Robin, like an older version of Robin, or if they're going to have him maybe play like some other comic book character. Black Lightning is going to apparently cross over into it. So it's like a full-on DC superhero crossover, regardless of what network or what universe you're in. You're going to be in this crossover no matter what, which I think is amazing. And it's going to be the last time we see the OG Arrowverse crew together. Because after this, Arrow's done. So it's done, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just getting some ice for my coffee over here.
I thought Zach was very excited.
We're not using headsets today, so we can do the show from off camera if we wanted to. We could just talk about stuff from over here in the kitchen and stuff. And I'm just hanging out at the fridge talking comic books and whatnot. It's pretty cool, right? I'm sure you love that sound and stuff in your head.
How many ice cubes do you need?
A lot. It's iced coffee.
Why do I get the hot stuff?
Because you said you wanted a coffee. You didn't say I want an iced coffee. You said I want a coffee.
I'm the guy who got the cold brew today.
Yeah, we switched. We went to a place this morning to read comic books called Dinosaur Coffee, and it was pretty good. It was a cool spot.
I tagged it on my Instagram.
It was a cool spot.
You tagged it on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Maybe next time they'll give us free coffee.
Doubt it.
Probably.
They ain't no burrito bamba.
Nope. Oh ho ho! When is that gonna happen?
All right.
I could go for a good breakfast burrito. This is addicting. Why would you do this?
It's so good. You haven't even tried your sandwich yet.
No.
Can we pause for a moment, Adam? I want you to try a burnt ends on white bread sandwich.
Can I just say, we went and got sandwich earlier, and they fucking suck.
It sucked. They messed mine up. I'm not gonna actually TMI.
Whoa! What the fuck?
Right? It's like a sloppy Joe, but the best part that you could ever imagine of a sloppy Joe. Burnt ends is where it's at. So good.
I think I just died.
Yeah. It's the simple things in life, man.
I just want to go off stage. I just want to go off set, cry, and then come back. That's so good.
Hey, man, glad to be back. Glad to be back.
You can't do this because then I'm going to expect this every week.
You can buy next week.
Okay. 2 hours of us eating. That's all this is going to turn into.
Friends, buy Friends Barbecue. That's all I'm going to say.
Good barbecue.
Get you a friend that you can eat barbecue with.
Dude, that's magical.
I knew I was in for a treat when I saw on their website they deliberately said on white bread, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, why is that such a big deal?
It's just the way it's done KC style. Burn ends on white bread.
God damn it, Zach. What else happened in the world of Zach?
Well,
Other than that hideous mustache.
I've been at
Sorry, Melissa.
that was a goal. You say hideous. Apparently, my wife thinks this is the best look for me, and she's the one that matters. So, everyone else's opinion can shove it. And yeah, I had to wear this mustache. And Uber Baldy can laugh all he wants. My wife likes it, so.
That's all that matters.
Your laughing is irrelevant.
He's winning.
Still winning. But we went to Gen Con all last week. It was a huge con. For those that don't know, Gen Con became this year the largest board game tabletop gaming convention in the world. It surpassed the European conventions. It became the biggest
wow.
in the world. We had events all week long. We had sold out events too.
Y'all were busy.
The Rat Queens killed it. They had a full audience. I did a show of Kolok. We did a roguelike RPG where I got pied in the face with hot chicken.
I saw that.
Good times. It was like getting pied, but with a
I see
tin
a
of
team
hot
trying
chicken.
to pick it up, and all of a sudden, whoa! And then just you
Right in my
underneath the
face.
table. Oh.
Right in my face. That was interesting. That was very interesting. But we also had a bunch of really cool meetups. We got to meet so many of the fans, and that was absolutely awesome. I don't know where it is. Malika came back with it. One of our fans gave Malika and I a Silver Surfer Black #1 variant that is so beautiful. And I entrusted Malika to bring it back, but she immediately had to leave after we get back. She's with her family out of town right now, so I haven't even unpacked her. We haven't unpacked her luggage yet, so I'm not going to go through her luggage. But we at Hyper RPG were also hired by Gen Con to cover 14 hours a day of IRL content. We were so busy, and Adam was just here chilling with no pants on for a week. It's crazy. It's crazy. So
I won't tell
we're
you
back,
whether or not
though.
I actually.
Should we show? I want to show them some of the stuff I picked up because
Yeah.
some of it's really cool. So not that yet, not that. Grab that one on top there. That right there.
This?
Yeah. So this is Funkoverse Batman. It's a strategy game. It's like HeroClix Lite. It's really fun. And this is you've got Batgirl, Batman, Harley, and Joker teaming off 2v2. You can play 1v1 and play both characters too
nice.
if you want. What I really like about this game is that you can cross-universe it with the other Funko figures. So now grab that one. This is the matchup I'm ready for. The Golden Girls versus Batman. So when I play this for the first time, that's how it's going to go down. It's gonna be Golden Girls versus Batman, and it's going to be glorious.
Thank you for being a friend. So good.
Travel down the road and back again.
Are we gonna have to do a Golden Girls marathon?
Oh, yes, please. We got the Sinister Six board game. Now, these next two games were given to us by Thumpers at the con. We had no time to walk around and actually check out stuff on the floor.
I love
We
how
were
you
so
guys
busy.
left and you made fun of me. You're like, we're all gonna go see Hobbs and Shaw together at Gen Con.
No, we didn't have time.
You dick. I saw it twice before you even did.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I was going to go last night, and all the tickets were sold out. No joke. I was going to go last night. I
It's
waited too long, and
fun.
the seats were filled. So picked up Sinister Six. This was given to us by one of the fans, which is awesome. It says, to Zach and Malika, kick Spidey's butt. I can't wait to play this. This is another one. They also gave me an exclusive Hobgoblin expansion for this. So pumped. Really excited for this one.
That's awesome.
And then we've also got Wakanda Forever, which looked really fun as well. Some of these games are so stupid fun, it's great. And then I picked up another game, Adam, that everyone suggested I grab after we played it together as a group.
Guys,
You're going to love this.
I know I'm gonna love this just because of the packaging.
We may play this today. We may play it today, who knows. It's a blockbuster party game. It's like one of those games where you have to you have a timer and you have to go back and forth and you have to hit the timer, and whoever the timer lands on loses. So it could be like the first card there is like movies with ghosts.
Ghost.
And it might be like movies with the in the title and things like that. So it's a fun party game for movies. It's gonna be awesome.
Look, I know I don't game a lot on this channel, but that shit, I will
I know.
play.
You'll be into it.
I will play.
You'll be into it.
Emily was gonna buy it too, and then she found out you bought it, and she's like, "Well, I didn't get a chance to get it while I was at Gen Con." I was like, "It's
right
here.
here.
Why would you buy another
Right
one?"
here. We're all family here. You can just
Yeah.
use our stuff.
You're here more than you're at your own house.
Yeah, everyone uses our shit here. It's fine. I also picked up Lucas a game called Drunken Quest, the expansion. It's a really fun card game.
Is he on the cover of it? Just him with the IRL rig and a beer?
Yeah,
I would
pretty
play
much.
that game 100%.
Pretty much. And then I grabbed a card game made from the same people that made Drunken Quest called Neckbeard. Lay Neckbeard.
My God.
Lay Neckbeard. It's extremely inappropriate, but also hilarious. It's about neckbeards trying to pick up their waifus. And it's just making fun of neckbeards. The whole game is making fun of neckbeards, and it's great. It's great. I don't know if we'll ever be able to play it on Hyper because it's super inappropriate, but it's really funny.
We'll play it.
Just
not on
stream.
camera.
Not on stream. I bought it for Bert.
Perfect. Oh my God.
It's great.
Bert, I hope you're coming over this week, please. That's so funny.
Yep. So yeah, that's what we picked up at Gen Con. I picked up a couple other things, some like narrative games, stuff like that. I also picked up Cyberpunk Red, the Jumpstart kit. I can't tell you guys why I picked it up, but I will be saying keep an eye out on someone else's YouTube channel in the coming weeks for why I had to pick up Cyberpunk Red. Not our channel. You'll hear about it on somebody else's channel. So that's going to be cool. That's a little secret. But should we start talking about the comic books?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Should we save X-Men again towards the end? Because I feel like we could talk about Jonathan Hickman's X-Men for an entire show. For an entire show. I was so excited. Last week I flew in to... I flew in last week in the middle of the night. I pulled a red eye. And it was on a Tuesday night into Wednesday. The second I landed, before I went to bed, I read X-Men. I'd been up for almost 24 hours. I read House of 10. Or Powers of 10.
Powers of 10, yeah.
I read Powers of 10 last
You'll
week.
get it eventually. You got 12 weeks to figure it out.
I'll figure it out. Last night, midnight hit, I had an alarm on my phone, download comic.
Oh my God.
And then boom, midnight hit, and I was like, House of X, let's do it. Number 2. It's so good. It's making me so excited to be an X-Men fan again. The way it's all interconnected and the fact that it's doing week to week, oh man, it's just keeping that. And I was telling you, like, we're 3 books in and we're still in the setup.
Oh yeah.
It's still
Big time.
setup.
And this week's was so good! I will say about this X-Men comic, the thing that I love the fact that it's week to week. And I think because, like you're saying, it keeps the momentum going, and it keeps sort of the excitement and the anticipation and the building and all that sort of stuff. Like when a comic is month to month, or like if there's a big gaps in between every issue, a lot of times you tend to kind of forget what has happened. And once you get like 4 or 5 pages into it, you're like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. Oh damn, I forgot that. With this, you're just like, okay.
But I completely understand that.
Yeah.
From a creative standpoint, because writing comics happens fast.
Yeah.
Drawing comics does not. It takes a very long time to do art for comic books.
Yeah.
And sometimes release schedules, when they're too quick, you can watch the quality of the book drop as it's going. And that is always so disheartening. A book will start really, really strong, and as it continues, the art quality just drops and drops and drops. So far, that hasn't happened on this book.
No, not at all. Not only that, is like the detail work is insane. I mean, we'll talk about it, but like this book has like timeline of events, and it's unreal. It makes me think that they've been working on this
for a long time.
Like, I don't know how far ahead they are, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like way more than, like if they're 3/4 of the way, like if they're 75%.
As Redman Scott said, they had a long lead time on this book.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if they're like on the last like three issues.
They're probably already done.
Yeah, or they're done. Who knows?
They're probably doing finishing touches.
Yeah, because I mean, to be 3 books in and have this amazing quality, it's amazing. And it's the same teams for both, right?
I can't remember.
I
should know this off the top of my head. I've just been reading them and absorbing them.
It seems like the artwork is pretty consistent and pretty...
No, it's 2 different artists.
Oh, it's 2 different artists. Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Because, I mean, the quality is just unreal. And if you're going to put that much detail into every issue, and where there's no actual artwork, but it's just descriptive information, and like the timelines and all that stuff.
Yeah. Redman Scott's got it. Laraz is doing the art on House, and RB Silva on Powers. And I was so glad RB Silva works really well with the like sci-fi stuff. It was awesome.
It's amazing work.
So before we jump into that, because I do feel like we'll be able to talk about it for a really long time, we have other books that we can talk about. So let me start pulling them up. Was there any other like news in superhero type stuff you want to talk about?
There was a trailer that came out for Titans. I didn't get a chance to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about it on this week's Hyper Heroes. The show's coming out in a month, so I mean, I'm gonna watch it no matter what. I'm super excited to watch it. I'm really just jazzed about this Crisis on Infinite Earths, really. Like TV-wise. I haven't finished Swamp Thing yet. I'm like 3 episodes behind. I'm kind of dreading getting to episode 10. Not because, for no reason other than I'm mad that it's canceled.
Yeah.
Basically.
You might want
live
to,
forever.
I just remembered, you might want to pull up Super Chat.
Oh, yeah,
for
that's
YouTube
right.
because Restream doesn't show it to us.
That's right.
But I will say, Eridance just tipped on the Twitch side saying, "Welcome back, Zach. I read House of X last week and Powers of X today thanks to this show," which is awesome. Tweet that at Hickman.
Boom. Boom.
Yo, Marvel, what's up? And I know a lot of people on YouTube are talking about it as well. And somebody asked, does it make any sense to you guys why House of X #2 was highlighted in red on the release schedule? No, and also if you noticed, yeah, it was highlighted in the end of the book. Yeah, this one, the different ones that were highlighted in red.
This week's, it was, I think, it was this week's issue of House of X, and then I think it's like issue 5 and 6.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
something
there
like
were
that.
some, yeah, because you're looking at it and you're like, what does it mean?
Yeah. Am I supposed to wait?
Why don't you show us Life 6?
Yeah.
The second in the story, and this is what I love about the plotting of these books. I said I wasn't going to talk about it till later. We'll wait.
We'll wait. I just want to give a shout out to CB3 on YouTube with the $1.99 tip. What? Motherfucker. Be right back.
No. Continue. What was that?
CB3 who tipped $1.99 who says, cool stash.
Thank
and
you.
then Natasha Hernandez who also tipped $2. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want to go fix that?
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay.
I'll keep talking. So I'll jump right into this. The Death-Defying Devil #1, written by Gail Simone. This was okay. I wanted it to be a little better. I wanted something different. I don't know how many of you keep up with the superpowers kind of world of Dynamite. I know a lot of you probably know about DC heroes and Marvel heroes. Well, Dynamite actually has their own group of heroes as well, and they're interesting. I really like some of their books. I think some of them are really strong. The heroes are really different though. And there's a couple different side stories, like there was one with the Black Terror that was really strong. So I thought this was going to be a unique take, something a little different, because the Death-Defying Devil had a really interesting stint in the last Superpowers book, and it's none of that. And it's just a more kind of lone wolf hero kind of tale from this first issue. I hope it gets stronger. I like Gail Simone. I think she does good work, but I'm expecting a little bit more out of this. I want to see something that's a unique, fresh take on these Dynamite properties, like the Black Terror one was. That was so good. But
When I was scrubbing through this, I thought this was Daredevil.
I know.
And I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, this is not Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Daredevil. But I wanted to read it. It was a #1, so I really wanted to check it out.
Yeah. Nigdaman1 in YouTube asked, do you guys follow non-superhero comics like Saga? We do. Speaking of, Space Bandits is awesome. So good.
I love this book so much.
It's a great book. You talked about #1 before.
Yeah.
I didn't read it. You were hyping up #2 to me today, so I went back and I read.
We were sitting at the coffee shop, and I was like, dude, I know, you just happened to look over, and I was like, Space Bandits. I was like showing you a panel, and you're like, should I read it? I'm like, yes, it's so good. I've loved both issues.
Netflix is producing this book with Image because Mark Millar is the writer on it, he's partnered with Netflix now. They're developing a lot of his properties. This has to be a show.
Please.
It feels like a spec
It's so good, man.
The relationship between the two lead female characters is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's so good. It's very strong. The rundown of this is it's these two women who are both wronged by men, but in different ways. One, the girl here with the really tall afro, she is a mastermind. She's a criminal mastermind who has a lizard that she can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
She was betrayed by her group of adventuring party, whatever, a group of bandits that she hired to pull off a bunch of things.
Heists and stuff,
heists. They shot her and left her for dead, and now she's in prison. The other is this crazy, badass fighter girl who had a boyfriend.
Kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, where they were getting her bounty higher and higher.
Yeah.
And he was the one that was always fake capturing her and turning her in, only for them to plan a breakout again to keep like getting her bounty higher and higher.
And his dumbass left her.
Then he left her and didn't break her out, so she's also in prison. So now,
and these two characters end up meeting in the same prison.
yeah.
And the thing that I love is when the one character gets shot, in this issue she explains
All my they didn't know because she's not human.
Yeah.
All of my
her,
vital organs are in my
her
skull.
And I was like, that is genius. That is so genius that like the heart, the brain, the lungs, everything that is like I mean, she's like, it still hurt like hell to get shot, but because all those vital organs are in my skull and they didn't know that,
I'm fine.
They weren't expecting me to survive, which I was like, dude, that's badass. So now they're teaming up together and they're trying to
break
get
out of prison.
Yeah, they're trying to break out of this thing together, and they have to, you know, replace some peeps.
Oh, I love this part. This is when I looked over at Adam. This is great. A three-dimensional algorithm. He comes from an ancient world that spawns mathematical organisms. But watch out for his right hook. He's still a dirty fighter. So she's fighting a mathematical algorithm.
And she's like, what the fuck? What? It's awesome.
It's so weird. It's really kooky and strange, but it's really well written. It's really well paced.
Really fun. Yeah, really easy read. You just can't stop turning the page and like going from panel to panel. The artwork is awesome. It's a really cool universe, and it's not like you've seen so much of it, but because the panels are filled up with so much great artwork,
it's doing some good world building.
Yeah, you're like immediately just completely amazed and just intrigued by what you're seeing. It's so well done. I really like it. Yeah, and I really do hope that it turns into something at Netflix, whether it's a series or a film or whatever. I think series would probably seem like it's very appropriate for it. It's almost written like it's episodic. Yeah,
like an episodic series. I mean, book 1 to 2, you're like, these are your first 2 episodes.
Exactly. This is your pilot right here.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I really liked it.
All the characters, even the side characters, I thought were really well fleshed out.
Yeah.
Even these 2 security guards.
Yeah, these 2 assholes. One is very like empathetic. The other one's just like, yo, just give me your lizard. I don't give a damn.
Lots of times, your side characters don't have that kind of empathy, or it's just like they're going to be one note, and there was a lot of subtext in there. It's some of the strongest writing I've seen from Mark Millar in a long time. So I dig that. I dig it. This book is high on my list now of things I'm going to be watching and keeping an eye out for.
I didn't know it was coming out this week, and I saw it, and I was like, that's my first read. I'm jumping right into that because I loved the first one so much. It was great.
There were some really bloody shots in it, too. That's what caught my attention first, and we were like, oh my god, what is that?
What is this gore?
You lost it again already.
Dude.
I'm just going to turn it off.
Fuck.
How does that sound? I'll just turn off the TV so you don't have to worry about it. Look at this. Look at this. We're just going to do a little... We're going to do a little...
Technology, guys.
Boop.
No matter how hard we try.
Little boop. No big deal. It's no big deal, man.
Technology. But at least we have this barbecue sauce. Damn, that's good.
All right, so that was Space Bandits number 2. Sea of Stars number 2, another space story. This one from Jason Aaron is also really good. Did you get a chance to read this one?
No, I got to go back and read 1 and 2.
You didn't get a chance to read the first one? Mm-mm. So...
But I know you loved it last time we talked about it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's setting up a new world. I mean, I love it when Jason Aaron does normal people in extreme situations. It's why I love Southern Bastards so much. Mm-hmm. This feels very much like it's in the world of Southern Bastards, even though it's not. It's in space. But it's a trucker with his son out in space, just taking a truck through space, and he comes across this giant space whale that eats his truck.
Wait a second.
You may have read this.
No, I did read this.
Yeah.
I did read this. That's right.
And the son escapes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did read this.
So the first one picks up right where it left off. Now, you kind of, at the end of the last book, you tracked with the son, and in this book, you track with the dad, and how he's trying to get back to his son.
That's right.
And it's filled with space fun.
God damn it. Every week we do this show, I'm like, that's just that one comic that I didn't get to read that I really want to read. Now I got to read it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll just do that for the rest of the day and just say screw everything else.
Yeah, come on. I mean, catch up on comic books.
Why not?
Right?
Why not?
What else you got to do?
Yeah.
What else you got to do? I didn't get a chance to read Savage Avengers. It's on my list. I pulled it up, and then the show started, so that's one that I'm going to be reading after the show. I'm enjoying this one for how over the top it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you would expect from a book with Conan. I mean, look at that. Conan the Barbarian
And the
is holding a
Punisher.
freaking machine gun in this shot, and Punisher's wielding his sword, and they're fighting ninjas. I think you know what book you're buying.
Yep.
You know what you're getting.
Does this book have anything to do with time travel or anything, or?
Conan was already in our timeline.
Gotcha. Okay.
He was already in our timeline in the Savage Land.
Gotcha.
Actually, yes, this is a book Malika would love. Hulk Verines is still her favorite book of the last year. Hulk Verines.
Yep. That's a thing.
Because as Malika said, comics are lowbrow, and they should stay lowbrow. So just give her lowbrow entertainment.
Oh, Malika.
Marvel Comics #1, 80th anniversary edition. I didn't read any of this.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't either.
231 pages. I was putting it towards the back.
Yeah. Saga of the original Human Torch.
Yeah. I didn't read any of it.
Look, when it gets to over 75, I'm like,
I don't know if I have
how many
time.
books am I going to be able to read if I read this juggernaut?
I'm still reading that H.P. Lovecraft, Tale in the Ice. And I'm loving it. I've been reading it. That's the one I keep going back to when I'm done with our weekly reads. I'm still reading it. It was a manga converted to English, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. But it's taking me forever to get through. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I want to see YouTube sound off, though. You guys are being really quiet in YouTube. So YouTube side, I want to see you sound off. Tell us what you're reading, what you're picking up. And also, if you're a fan, you know what? I'm going to do a challenge for YouTube because I feel like we've done this on the Twitch side. And we get a lot more activity over there. YouTube chat, if you like a certain movie, tell us which one. What's your favorite superhero movie? And I'll try to suggest a comic book. And in fact, tell us a movie that isn't a superhero movie. So give me your favorite superhero film and your favorite non-superhero film together. 2 movies, and we'll try to suggest a comic book for you.
Dang.
Okay.
I'm trying to, how to not turn off my phone from going to sleep
Super
all the
chat,
time.
right? Megalo Blazemon said, just looked it up. It looks like Southern Bastards is recently, as of a week ago, in production for an FX series.
Nice.
If you don't get Samuel L. Jackson in that show, you've made a grave mistake.
You made a critical error.
It's his favorite comic.
Yeah.
You know?
He was I think it was the press circuit for Endgame he talked about it, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, and he's perfect for it. There's so many characters in that book he would be great at.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the books. Did you get a chance to read Lois Lane #2?
I did read Lois Lane #2.
Talk about it.
So it seems like the through line story in this is that Lois Lane was seen cheating on Clark Kent with Superman. So now, that creates a lot of controversy in the comic world because no one obviously knows that Clark Kent and Superman are the same person.
Gee shucks, all golly williker still?
Exactly.
Still?
So Lois is kind of dealing with that and the press and all these talk shows on television, which are just like spoofs of The View and all that sort of stuff, talking about it and really just laying it on and just, God.
Because it's public knowledge that Lois Lane is dating another reporter.
Yeah.
I love that in the comic
Married.
book, only in the comic book worlds does something like The View care about who a reporter is dating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Otherwise, no one gives a shit.
Right? Now, people do give a shit about who Superman's locking lips with. That makes sense.
That does make sense. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like other than that sort of being a major part of the storyline, Lois is is always trying to uncover something, whether it's a murder or some kind of a case. It's a continuation of kind of where we left off in the first issue, and we're jumping back and forth between events that have happened in Russia and things that are going on in Metropolis and Gotham City. We see her with Renee Montoya in this book. I would say it's good. It's fun seeing how she sort of deals with the press and people's opinion about her, with Clark and Superman and her outlook on that whole thing. So I like all that stuff. When it comes to actually figuring out what's happening in the greater part of the story, it seems like it's just sort of touched on, but we're not really getting to sort of the point.
I love that this has become such a comic book cliche.
Yeah.
That you can have Clark Kent kissing Lois Lane and then Superman kissing Lois Lane, and nobody goes, wait a minute.
Are they the same motherfucker?
Wait a fucking minute.
They both look the same.
I wonder,
The same height,
same hair,
same eye color.
skin tone, general build, shoe size, but the glasses are throwing me off. She must be cheating on Clark Kent.
Hot damn.
Seriously.
Comic
I
books.
love that comic books just keep this cliche running.
Yeah.
They just keep it going.
You know what else is it? You know what else they keep? That's one of the most consistent things that's been in the comic books probably since the inception is Lois being a terrible speller. But it's funny because she's like a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, reporter, writer, but she's a terrible speller, and that's been consistent in every comic, show, movie. And it's kind of fun because her and Perry always have back and forth about it, and she's like, "Whatever, man. I'm Pulitzer Prize winning."
I never knew
Fuck
this.
you.
This is something I didn't know about Superman books.
Oh my god!
I had no idea.
She's a shit speller, and it's amazing.
This is something I didn't. I learned something new every day.
Yeah, I love it.
So this is something that's been around since the beginning. That she's just a bad
For
speller.
a long time, yeah. I mean, I think it's even in the Fleischer cartoons. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, she's a terrible speller, and I love it. Like her and Perry having banter about like who your leads, who your sources. There's no P in this. There's no A in this. There's no ass in, you know. It's. I love it. It's great.
Man, I can relate. I can fucking relate.
Yeah, and I think that's what like helps kind of ground that character a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me personally for this book is I don't know where it's going yet. It feels like it's just like set up, and maybe there was another storyline in a different book, whether it was Action Comics or Superman or whatever, that leads into this. But as of right now, I'm like, okay, what are these conspiracies that she's trying to solve? What are these cases? When are we kind of gonna get into like the meat and potatoes of what's happening? It's like there's murders, there's this stuff, cool, but I need to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think it's really fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was trying to keep track of the YouTube comments to see if there was anyone that did respond to our question there.
Your
I only
query?
see like Just a Thought posted maybe Black Panther's their favorite superhero movie,
Yeah.
but I don't see a follow up to like just favorite movie in general. James Taylor, you probably are the only person watching on Facebook.
But we're
Usually
here for
Facebook
you.
is just like one viewer.
We're here for you.
Let's see. Rice Parton says, I'm new to the world of comics. I normally borrow them at random from the local public library. That's a great way to read comics, by the way. Recently, a new bookstore opened, and I am in town, and I'm picking up my first comics to own.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Oh, I wish I could have grown up around a comic book store. When I first moved to a town that had a comic book store, it
Yeah.
blew my mind. I didn't know those were things. I was so ignorant to the nerd world. It's so hard for me to explain to people. I get this a lot at Gen Con too. People want to do their whole stories of like, how long have you been playing D&D? How long have you been playing this? How long have you been playing that? And I'm like, 5 years since I started doing this kind of stuff. Comic books are the thing I've been doing the longest, but I had never even walked into like a comic book store until I was like after my undergrad, and I was in grad school.
Jesus.
And
Wild.
like this idea of a comic book store,
Right, you're like,
was
I don't
such a
get
thing.
it.
I was like, what? What are you even talking? That isn't
You
a
sell
thing.
magazines? I don't get
That's
it.
a real thing.
Yeah.
I've been to a Hastings. They sell a couple comics there. That was the closest I'd ever gotten to a comic book
Wow.
store, was a Hastings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from San Diego, so there was a comic book store, I don't know, 5 minutes from where I lived that I would go to all the time, and it was great. They just have like action figures, comics, you know, just anything related to the superhero brands or comic books in general.
Okay.
They had. So yeah, like they have not been foreign to me. But I feel like I feel like I went to comic book stores more as not an adult, but a little bit older, you know, teens.
Yeah.
After I was like 13, 14. Prior to that, most of my comic book consumption came from like bookstores or like magazine shops.
I know I've said it here before. Walmart double packs. Walmart double packs, man.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So I got most of my comic books. I've read so many X-Men, X-related comics.
Yeah.
Out of order, randomly, and through the years I would try to piece them together.
Yeah.
Put them in the right order because I'd pick them up and reprint double packs.
Yeah. I think KB Toy Store used to have comic books too, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Damn, memory lane.
So YouTube, hardly anyone responded to my request.
Cool.
So I'll say, if you're watching this video later, post it in the comments. Tell me
Yeah.
your favorite superhero movie and your favorite non-superhero movie. Or you could just tell me your favorite TV show, and I will try to recommend to you some comic books you should check out. Hector and I used to do this for people. We love doing it on the pool.
Yeah.
We want people to read comic books, and there's so many comic books out there. Like I said, my iPad right now has over 800 comic books on it.
Yeah.
And that's just from the last year.
Yeah.
And
Damn, that's crazy.
I ran out of space. Yesterday was the first time I actually hit the space limit, and it was
Oh
like,
my
you need to
God.
delete some comics to free up some space.
But Reese, you should definitely go get Space Bandits. At least get Space Bandits.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's so good.
It's so fun. There's so many good indie books out right
Yeah.
now that are blowing my mind.
That's the biggest thing. Like, obviously, you know, I love DC, so I most of the stuff that I read that we talk about is DC stuff. I dip into some of the Marvel stuff. But I challenge you to go outside of those and try to find something independent like a Space Bandits and just jump into it and then
There's
report back and let us know what you think.
An independent book for everyone.
Yeah.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really is. Of good Marvel books, though,
Yeah.
that are out right now, Invisible Woman
You were
is
excited about this?
strong.
Yeah.
This is a strong book.
Is that Natasha?
Yes. I told you while I was reading this, I was like, this is what Black Widow, the movie, should be.
So now I understand why you made that comment, because I didn't see the cover before.
It's a spy story, and it's a great spy story. This is one of my there's not many Sue Storm stories individually, but even when you throw Black Widow into the mix, this is a great Marvel spy story. And this reminds me of Marvel now when it first hit, and you were given creators like Mark Waid and Matt Fraction the keys to start doing some stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Marvel's having a good year. I feel like they had a couple kind of down years the last couple years, and now with Donny Cates and some other writers like stepping up, and they're kind of giving them some freedom. We're getting some really interesting stuff, and this is Mark Waid doing what Mark Waid does best.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff. It's really good
That's
stuff.
cool.
And
I like the style of the artwork too. I feel like I don't normally see something like this in a Marvel comic book.
not in a Marvel book.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's different. It's also very different from the cover. Like if I were to look at the cover, I would not expect this style of artwork. But it's great. I like it.
It's so good. And issue 1 was extremely strong. Issue 2 is extremely strong. Both of them are great single issue comic books that you can pick up. They're page turners. You're flipping through it, and every once in a while I have to stop and appreciate art and moments like this. This is a great. Sue Storm is challenging a guy to a drink off, and she's being super boastful and everything. And the great stuff in this book is Sue and Natasha's playing off of each other, because Natasha's kind of condescending.
Sure.
Because she's like, I'm the world's greatest spy.
Yeah.
You're a family woman.
Right.
So she's always talking down to Sue, but Sue's like, I've been on missions for Nick Fury that you've never heard about. And she keeps proving herself to Natasha in interesting ways. Like her sitting down to have this drinking contest, and the guy reveals that, they're all poison and everything. But at the very end, it's like she just reveals that she was using her powers to mask that she was drinking, but she wasn't taking a single drink. And there's all sorts of little moments like that where they're using her ability in really creative ways.
Yeah. And then fools just get shanked.
Yeah, like this whole chase was really cool.
Yeah.
Of the way she removes him from the crowd, but then when he's in the building, she's able to use her invisibility portals to see through the building to chase him.
Wow.
Really interesting ways to use her power, and then an awesome moment with Natasha. So it's like a really action-packed book with a lot of great scenes that feels like a great spy flick.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
It looks like it just moves from panel to panel to panel to panel.
It does. It moves.
That's awesome.
It moves. Can't recommend this book enough. It's only 2 issues in, so if you were thinking about picking it up, boom.
There you go.
So yeah, it's really good. You can't really go wrong with that one.
Yeah.
Both of them are really strong. We're gonna skip House of X. I did read Die number 6. This is a book we read on the channel one day.
Right.
I went and read the entire trade. Die number 6 is still extremely good, extremely strong. There's a lot going on. It's a very thick plot book.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and it just, for us here at Hyper RPG, it ties a lot into the stuff we're doing here. So if you're into RPGs, if you're into the other stuff we do with the channel, this is like the best in-between I've seen. Instead of just doing a book about adventurers or a literal like D&D group comic, it's very meta, and it deals with the structures that happen at a table and how those stories are told in a really interesting way.
That's cool.
So it's elevated from those other stories.
Did we read the first or the first 2 issues?
We read the first 2 issues. I believe.
Yeah. That's crazy. Damn, it's already on issue 6.
John Griffiths, we are not going to skip House of X. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk. You got time right now. You better read it right now.
You better start reading now.
Are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
You got about 45 minutes.
We have to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
We can't not talk about it.
It's so
we didn't
good.
get to talk about Powers of 10 last week together.
No.
Okay? That's what we're here for. All right, tell me all about Deceased, number 4.
I really dig. So I remember last time when I read issue 3, I wasn't that into it. To me, it kind of slowed things down. Nothing really happened. But in this one, it gets wild. And the basic premise of this is that the anti-life equation has basically turned people into these zombie-like beings, and we've lost a ton of heroes, including characters like Batman, as far as we know. So you've got
Batman's never actually dead.
Batman's never. He's always one step ahead.
He's hiding in the shadows somewhere, and
Yeah.
he'll be your Deus Ex Machina that comes out at the end and be like, I figured it all out.
Well, last time we saw him, I think he was wearing Mr. Freeze's suit to try to contain the anti-life virus, basically. So you have all these heroes that are spread all around the world. And in this issue, some stuff happens with Captain Atom that I don't want to reveal, but it gets fucking crazy.
So do I need to not click next page?
I mean, you can quickly, maybe. I don't know.
Let me skip.
I don't think it's on the next page. I think it's like a few pages in.
Anyways,
Anyways, some wild stuff happens, and like there still continues to be this expansion of the anti-life virus. So all these people are being basically taken over, and all the heroes most of the heroes are stuck on this roof in Metropolis. I think they're on the roof of the Daily Planet. It's Lois, it's John. Now Superman has brought his mother down there. Arrow, Black Canary, who's now become a Green Lantern, which is super rad. But they basically put out a call to all the remaining heroes, or all the living heroes, and villains, and they say like, look, we're all that's left. We're the only hope that's left in the world. We need to try to beat this somehow. Try, if you can get to us, try to meet us on the roof of the Daily Planet. Let's try to reconverge and figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to beat this thing. Then the message spreads everywhere through Themyscira, through Atlantis. Mera has escaped Atlantis, and she's now in Themyscira seeking some sort of like shelter and help from the Amazons. So like her and Wonder Woman, they end up going to Metropolis. It's really cool to see all these different characters uniting because of this one incredibly devastating event. And you even see like Lex Luthor, you see Harley and Poison Ivy. They're trying to escape from what's happening. And then Superman and Wonder Woman have to go on a mission to try to recruit 2 other heroes who are trying to stay hidden and stay undercover, because if you're exposed to the anti-life equation, it'll turn you. And if these 2 heroes, including Superman, become exposed, it could spill doom for everybody in the DC universe. And then there's some shit that happens at the end that I showed you an image of.
It's fucked up.
Which is crazy. And then at the end, something even crazier happens. And I was like, what the fuck is happening in issue 5? Because if you're going to do what they did, I'm like, where does this go? But it's great. I didn't like the last issue so much. Pa Kent was sacrificed to the anti-life equation. And it just felt really slow. Whereas this has some amazing cameos by a lot of heroes, some unexpected surprises, and some really great touching moments. But once you get to the end, you're reading through it, and it's just a really fun read, and it makes me excited to find out what happens next in the story. So I really dug it.
What would you give it on a rating scale? You know what? Fuck that. I don't like doing that.
Okay.
Let's not do that. Well,
I would give it a thumbs up.
I like that we're kind of treating things right now like, hell yeah, or, it's okay.
Yeah.
Rating scales get weird, right?
Look, this is the reason why we don't give ratings to any of the movies that we review anymore, because then everybody was like, you gave this a 10 and that an 8? That should be a 9. That should be a 4. Whatever, man. I liked the book. It was good. I liked issue 1, 2, and 4 the most. 3 was all right. Did I love it? No. Did I hate it? No.
Well, things I love right now is Daredevil. Zdarsky is killing the writing on this run of Daredevil. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I like Zdarsky's Twitter feed better than I like a lot of his comic books. I think he's done some really good work. He is a clever son of a bitch. He's so clever. And his Twitter feed is amazing. But I haven't been able to connect to one of his books yet. Just connect. And I talked about the last issue of Daredevil where he accidentally shows up for dinner at a crime family and has to save them from a hitman. Mm-hmm. And I liked that issue so much, I went back to number 1. And while I was at Gen Con, I read all the way up to this point. It might be right up there with Mark Waid's run of Daredevil from 2008 to 2010, I think, kind of range. It was past that, wasn't it? Man, my timeline's right now. No, I'm sorry. That was way too long ago. I'm talking 2012 to 2014 probably was Mark Waid's Daredevil run. But anyway, that Mark Waid Daredevil run is phenomenal. This has a completely different vibe to it, but it is strong. It is so strong. It is putting Matt Murdock in positions and character questions that other writers have tried to do, but it hasn't felt as like gratifying or contemplative or making me feel for Matt as much. Sometimes Matt just comes off whiny and like he's just not sure of himself. And I think Zdarsky's writing has found a way to make Matt questioning himself and making his actions feel like questions of himself as well, and not just the words he's saying. And there's some really strong moments in there. You can go pick up Volume 1 right now at your local comic book store of Zdarsky's run of Daredevil, and I highly recommend it. I blazed through that book. It was so strong. And this issue in particular is very good. It starts off with Reed Richards and Matt Murdock playing chess, and Matt just wants to know if Reed believes in God. Mm-hmm. And he's not asking him as if he believes in God to criticize him, but to say, please tell me if you've met God. You're Reed Richards. You're the smartest guy in the world. Do you think there's a God? And he's questioning his faith in interesting ways. And Reed Richards' answers are so smart from a writing perspective.
Yeah.
This is two men who respect each other so much and respect their different opinions so much, and they're having a great conversation about it. And there's never a point where either one of them says the other is right or wrong. It's an awesome conversation between two individuals and them contemplating their place in the world and if God factors into that.
That's rad.
And the rest of the book, so for those that don't know, Daredevil right now, he's put up his suit. There was this awesome moment in Volume 1. I want to let you read Volume 1. Mm-hmm. It's so good. They introduced this new police captain who is a super badass, and he gets in a bare knuckle fight with Matt in the middle of like a group of police cruisers, and the police are like, I don't want any part of this because Matt's like, as far as we're concerned, he's a cop. Yeah. And this guy came in from out of town, and Wilson Fisk is the mayor right now, and Fisk is like, arrest all heroes. And it's just, it goes, and it also started with Matt Murdock accidentally killed somebody. He's really rough right now. He got hit by a car, he's recovering, and he pulled a punch just the wrong way, and it killed the guy. Oh, shit. And he's dealing with that, and he's dealing with why he's Daredevil and how he fits into all this stuff. And this whole book is talking about his faith and where he fits into everything. And then it starts to be a question of like, I'm looking for a sign. What do I need to be doing? I have these amazing gifts. And he believes that this sign is he hears about a kid who's missing, and he thinks to himself, maybe I can use my gifts in a different way. You know, he can find someone, he can help them. In that way. We get to learn a little bit more about the police captain and stuff that's going on with the Owl and Wilson Fisk. Even though he's trying to catch Daredevil, he's also exposing corruption within the police force as well. So he's a good guy. Yeah. He's a really good guy. He thinks Daredevil's gone too far. He killed someone. And there's also a great moment, I think it was in issue 4 of this series, where Spider-Man visits Matt Murdock at his house in Spider-Man costume, basically. It was just like, you're done. Hang up your suit. You're done. I hope somebody could do for me what I'm doing for you right now, and is to come to you as a friend and say you've gone too far. Wow. And you're done. Hang up the mask. Damn. And it was powerful. Such a great moment. Such a great moment. But coming back to this issue, it all comes around to Matt questioning where he fits in. Can he use his powers in interesting ways? And I won't tell you how it ends, but it was so smart because you have this whole book of Matt wrestling who he is, where he fits in, and what does God want from him. And at the end, he sabotages himself in such a fucked up way. And that's what makes him so relatable as a character. And this book makes me feel like I care more about Matt than any time I've ever cared for Matt. Wow. And it's doing the things that Zdarsky did with Spider-Man in the life of Spider-Man through the different generations that I didn't like, but really making it hit home in these, where you want to just be like, Matt wouldn't do that. What the fuck? But because the whole book is him questioning his position, it's a very relatable moment to when you're feeling down on yourself and whether or not you're making the right choices, and you tell yourself, I finally found a way, you sabotage yourself at the first chance you get. It's extremely relatable. It's extremely messed up, and it hits you really hard because you're like, Matt, no, man. Yeah. Come on. I think you're better than this.
Yeah, and I think, too, you know, because Matt, I think because of his upbringing and who he is, you know, this Irish Catholic, like, his religion is such a part of his life, and I like that.
That's also what it is.
Yeah.
He's capturing the mentality of an Irish Catholic so well.
Yeah.
It's driven by guilt.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean
No. I mean, that's basically what I was gonna say. Is like, I like it when something like that is such a big part of a character, and they're able to lean into it in a way that makes the dynamics of the story and the character's relationship to the world a lot deeper and more interesting. And to have a conversation with like Reed Richards when he's coming in from a very religious perspective, but also understands that there could be a science behind it, or Reed might approach it from a very science perspective. Like, how does that work? Like, how does that lock in together? Or is that just like butting heads in the most respective way possible? You know, like that to me, it creates an interesting dialogue between
It was
characters.
a great scene because other people would have written Reed Richards to be condescending to Matt.
Yeah.
And Richards in the past has often been written to be aloof with how he has a science brain and he's not very human with his friends.
Right.
And that completely squashed that in this scene. And it was more like, I respect Matt.
That's cool.
And he even starts with saying how grateful he is that he just gets to do something non-superhero with a friend for a moment and play a game of chess.
Yeah.
And just the fact that, and that was a great scene too, because you're putting Matt Murdock at a table with Reed Richards playing chess. You're putting Matt Murdock in a position of higher respect right there.
Yeah.
You're immediately setting the scenes for how much
Good
Reed
enough.
respects Matt
Yeah.
to even be sitting at that table and playing chess with him.
Yep.
And you don't often think of Matt as a great thinker. So
Yeah.
to put him in that scene adds such an extra layer to
Yeah.
Murdock. And that's my favorite version of Matt Murdock is this contemplative, overthinking, overanalyzing. He's a lawyer.
Yep.
And when they bring that out in interesting ways, I'm loving this book.
That's cool.
I blazed through that volume at Gen Con. I think I stayed up one night and read through it all at once because I wasn't prepared for it to be so strong.
Because it's not like you needed any sleep while you were working 14 hours a day at Gen
No,
Con.
it was fine. It was fine.
As you
fine.
slept for the first 2 days you were back here?
Yeah. I don't realize how much I love that character until I find people who write him really, really well. I never think of Daredevil as one of my favorite superheroes until somebody gets the handle on him that just writes it in a way that's just so fucking good.
I feel, I think it was X-Men was the other thing, right? Was it X-Men? Or there was something else. There was something else, like a book that we were reading or some other superhero that were like, damn, I forget like how much I love this character or these groups of characters until I dive back into a comic and I'm like, damn, that's good. That's what makes that character great.
Yeah. Well, Daredevil, currently being written by Zdarsky.
This is issue 9, right?
This is issue 9, and volume 1 is out, and it's really good. It's really strong. They also play a lot around in this one with how his powers, they expand a lot on his powers because he's having to relearn how to be Daredevil after his accident. And they talk a lot about how surgical he is. And he even has a conversation with the doctor where the doctor's like, I've been operating on the people you put in this hospital for years, and you have to accept that you messed up this time. And you pulled a punch the wrong way.
Yeah.
But with your skills, you should be a surgeon, basically.
God
like,
damn.
Your ability to know exactly how to hurt someone. And maybe it also won me over, too, because when Spider-Man came into, Matt was like, he doesn't even know it, and because he doesn't is why he's the best of us. And I was like, oh, that's such a Spider-Man, like, oh, that's my boy. That's my boy.
That's my boy Petey.
That's my boy Peter. Let's dive back into the next book. All right, what's next? Sorry, I have to reload the page here, everybody. Next on our list, this is one I checked out today.
Yeah.
Coffin Bound #1. I picked it up because it's #1, and if I see an indie book that's #1, I often pick it up because you never know if it's going to be the next thing that you're like, I have to have this.
Another Space Bandits. I'm in.
As I was reading this, I thought that this felt like a Sandman comic. And then I saw just now as we were scrolling through that this guy wrote on the Sandman Universe books.
Oh.
This book starts at 10 and just goes.
No way.
When you talk about world building and stuff that's going on, some books are so weird. I'm like, I need to know what the fuck's going on. She starts off by talking to a vulture who's like just a skull in a cage with arms and legs.
What?
And they don't acknowledge it as weird. So it's very surreal. And I like surreal. But it does make it a little hard to track at times. But you can track it enough.
Okay.
So if you're into surreal, if you're into goth, very like.
But also, like, if you look at the cover, I mean, it's also like reflected here. Goth in terms of her, very bright and colorful everywhere else. I'm like, that's an interesting dynamic to just pair together.
Oh man. Okay, I mean, this little quote at the beginning from Kafka sets it up. My last request, everything I leave behind me to be burned unread. And that's kind of how this book starts. It starts with you find out that a hit has been put on this woman.
Yeah.
And that gets confusing as fuck halfway through the issue. And when she finds out this hit is coming, like I said, she's talking to a vulture.
That is wild.
It just starts. Those are
what
wooden
the
legs.
hell?
I know.
Okay.
It feels very Sandman.
Okay.
And she immediately gets in a gunfight, kills all these guys, but then when she knows that there's this hit's been put out on her by this thing that's never not killed its prey, she burns her house. And her whole thing, and this is the thing that's been hired to go after her.
What the fuck?
The Earth Eater. So it's doing world building, and it just throws you in, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, it's cool, but I don't know what the fuck is happening, what these characters are, who this person is, at all.
That's
but it's good.
Wild. What in the hell?
It's really good, and
I love the color.
Oh yeah,
so good.
And so she burns everything, and her whole thing is like, oh, and this character was so weird. He's talking about how much he hates surfaces.
What?
He's just like, she's on the phone with him, and he just goes on a tangent about how he hates surfaces. Repugnant. They divide one thing from another, and if they're of flesh, they acquire sweat and pus, and if they aren't flesh, they acquire dust and grime and feces. We're better off without them. And she just keeps talking as if not to even acknowledge what he's saying. So it's got that surreal quality to it. And then him looking at the chainsaw, I don't know what that means.
What the heck?
I don't know what the significance is. It's a weird fucking book. Okay, I'm gonna show you how weird this book gets.
Okay.
I forgot about this part.
Oh no.
So there's this strip club.
There's always a strip club.
If we have anyone who's under the age of 18, this is a little mature and a little disturbing. So and heads up, this is a little disturbing. So there's this strip club here, and you find out they're not stripping. They explain what they're doing. See, it starts like this, and then it changes as things want to. And she puts this thing on her finger, and it's a little disturbing. She rips her skin off, and she has this whole thing about why men pay for her to do this. The transformation of the object of desire into an object proper. So it's like,
cool.
She's explaining how these men get off on no longer seeing past her being a form of object of desire, but the object proper that it actually is, which is this flesh and bone and blood and guts. I warned you all. I fucking warned you, just a heads up. And it's like these men pay for it to be reminded of their mortality and their place in the world. And that's like her thing. And it's very clear that this is something she does every night, because there's this whole routine, and she's bandaging herself back up. And then it gets even weirder, because this guy starts talking, and then he finds out that the girl that he apparently loves is the one that got the hit on her. So now you're like, oh, it's tying back together, and all this stuff's coming together. Maybe I'm starting to understand this a little bit. And then he starts talking about how she has to make sure she's patched up so her new skin comes in perfectly clean. And this guy's like, we'll save her. We have to go stop the Earth Eater. And he speaks in a way that's very Shakespearean.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to give her the fact that what just happened there. That's Hannibal Lecter shit.
It's a crazy book. Like I said, it feels very Sandman, very like very dark and everything. But I'll skip all this stuff, and it gets to the Earth Eater part, and this dude shows up, and he's like, "We're here to stop you." Blah 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 blah.
This also has like a kind of like a Mad Maxy feel to it.
Definitely. And then you like get to this part, and it's like, you hired me for the job, you set the ritual in motion. And then he reveals that he is the god of poetry.
What?
Eldritch god of poetry. And I'm like, wait, these are Eldritch gods? Like, what the fuck is going on? And you find out that this guy who's in love with her is the one that hired the Earth Eater to kill her, but this was all part of his poetry. Like, of course, a poet needs his muse to die, but that's all just part of the play. You have to stop now.
What the hell?
And all this stuff. It's fucking
That's
weird.
wild and crazy, and I don't even
But then
know what to say to that.
the Earth Eater is like, you're distracting me, and I don't like distractions, and he kills them all.
Oh, what the hell?
So, it's a crazy book. If y'all are into fucking weird, this is fucking weird.
I feel like this needs to be the first thing I read the second the show ends.
Yeah. And then, and it all takes place in this weird, like, desert world that's not our world. It's so hard to tell where it is and where it's taking place.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting weirder, man.
Wow.
She also talks about getting, like, secret messages from this hobo at a dumpster fire and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh my god.
But I dug it, and I'll pick it up.
I've never been so intrigued by the premise of a comic book before, and then you show me those images, and I'm like, okay.
The thing to take away from all this, I dug it, and I'll pick up book 2. I will be picking up book 2.
Was it, yep, it
Thumbs
was.
up for me. Thumbs up for me.
I was into it.
I was super into it. I kept turning the pages like, I don't know what's happening. What is this? What the fuck does this mean? Oh my god, she cut off her skin. Oh, she's bandaging herself up. Oh, what the fuck is this? What's going on?
What is this Hannibal Lecter comic book that I'm reading?
But I kept turning the pages, and it kept me interested, for sure. It was really good.
Yeah, that's a trip and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's called Coffin Bound. But her whole thing is like she's trying to burn her past before the Earth Eater can get to her.
Right.
And there was like some poetic reasoning for it that I don't fully understand.
Sure. I mean, maybe the writer doesn't even understand until he gets
I
like
don't
issue
know.
2.
Yeah.
This sounds
the
good.
tagline was, "Will Izzy unlive?" And that was, and when it said, what does that mean? When she spoke of her burning her past, she was saying she needed to unlive.
Interesting.
To stay alive, she needs to unlive.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, comic books, man.
Good stuff.
Interesting form of art.
Yeah.
Agents of Atlas #1. We both read this.
Oh, you did get a chance to read it?
Yeah, I got a chance to read it.
What'd you think?
I like it.
I liked it too.
it.
You know, going into War of the Realms, you know, I mean, I really just read that first 2 issues of Agents of Atlas, War of the Realms, and I
You're
liked
just
it. I
throwing
dug
the
it.
characters in.
Yeah, but this was cool. This was like we got to spend a little more time with Amadeus, get to know a little bit about him, and you know, he's kind of assuming this like leadership role because Agent Wu is like dealing with the greater organization of Atlas. So that's really, really cool. And then you get introduced to like a new character.
And can I just say, for
Yeah.
the record, whenever I was telling Malika what the story for her Agents of Atlas RPG should be, I did not know they were going to set issue 1 in Madripoor.
Oh, really?
I was just like, all right, Marvel Comics, we're doing Agents of Atlas.
Yeah.
We should make everything happen in Madripoor.
That's funny. But yeah, I liked it. There's some crazy stuff that happens where it's like merging cities together and trying to like break the boundaries of what it means to have to like live in countries and societies.
It was kind of an interesting take on how spread out
Yeah.
Asian culture is.
Yeah.
So it was like this entrepreneur created a gateway that
Yeah.
allows all Asian megacities to be connected as one.
Yeah, so you just
and
like go through portals and hop into other ones.
all Asians could walk through them
Yeah.
at will, and then if they like it, they can subscribe.
That's right. Get a pass.
They could get
the
a
Disney
subscribe to a
pass.
pass to be able to do so willingly.
It was
Braun,
Amadeus.
Amadeus Cho doesn't trust it at
Yeah.
all, and he thinks that there's something going on.
Well, that's what I love too, and like that, I love the optimistic take on what this first issue did. Like, obviously, who knows what's going to unravel, and there's like, obviously, like you're seeing, there's crazy stuff with dragons and all sorts of stuff. But what I like is the fact that Amadeus was very much like, all right, get ready, Silk. It's about to like, you're right there. It's about to unleash. Like, these people are about to go buck wild and crazy because you have all these clashing, you know, societies and stuff. And then all of a sudden, people are just like greeting each other, saying hello, being respectful.
Yeah, they're like, get ready, everybody's
Yeah.
gonna freak out. You can't just
It's gonna
merge
be a
all these
shit
cities."
show.
And then all these people are like, konnichiwa.
Yeah, they're like just saying hi, and he's like, Spider Sense, anything? And she's like, nope, nothing. And he's like, oh, all right, I guess it's all good. I'm not familiar with this character though.
Brand new. And that was part of the
Brand new,
point,
okay.
that it's a brand new character.
Cool.
Cho doesn't trust him, thinks
Yeah.
that something's going on. There's so much distrust in this issue. And I mean,
Yeah.
Agents of Atlas at the end of the day has always been a little bit about clandestine missions and
Mm-hmm.
things that are going on under the radar. So they're bringing that into this new series as well and setting it up through this tale of these portals.
Mm-hmm.
And Wu is apparently up to something with the dragons,
Yeah.
who... There's a lot of lore dropped in this too. Most of the lore was dropped in the second half of the book. Did you read the second half all the way through?
The stuff with like Wu and with those like other
The
characters?
old Agents of Atlas. Because we learned that they're still Agents of Atlas,
Yeah.
and they're going out and saving these other people who want to be members of Agents of Atlas and recruiting them. So I can't wait to tell Malika they introduced a Thai girl that they were going to save.
Oh, cool.
Did you get to the end of that though? Because
No.
it revealed a lot of lore.
No.
It's the whole setup for the
Oh,
series.
damn it.
Yeah, you should have kept
I
reading.
stopped because I was like, oh, it's different, so I'm gonna just like read this first issue. Well, good to know. I done goofed, and now I gotta go back and I gotta read the second half.
Yeah, it was all the lore for apparently all this weird stuff with the dragons.
Yeah.
And how apparently the dragons are controlling Wu and all this other stuff.
So that makes sense to the ending of this, because I was like,
Yeah.
what? What
Right.
do you mean?
Right?
like,
there's a
what
lot
the
of
hell?
there's a lot of huh?
Okay, Wu, what are you doing?
But I like this little breakdown though. If we want to show this,
Yeah,
like
this
you've
is
got
cool.
Jimmy Woo in San Francisco, Silk, Braun, and Shang-Chi in New York,
Yeah.
Luna Snow and Crescent and Seal, Swordmaster in Shanghai, Arrow in Shanghai, and Wave in Mektan Island. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Oof. But giving you a layout of where all the Agents of Atlas
Yeah.
are.
I mean, that's a cool concept to have Amadeus kind of react to that idea the way he did. I was like, oh man, it's either gonna go one of two ways. They're gonna completely like do the opposite of what he thinks is gonna happen, or they're gonna lean into it and it's gonna be nuts. But it was cool. I dig the concept and how it has all these like other cities that people can access. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, this pan.
Yeah, man.
Connecting all of the Asian strongholds together,
Yeah.
which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I'm excited for Malika to read it and tell me what she thinks. She'll have much different insights than myself. She's gonna be so excited to see that they're
That was
hinting
cool.
at. Yeah.
I like that Avengers
Agents of Atlas
Assemble, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this page. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, what? What do you mean?
What? Okay.
What is
I've
Jimmy
read
Woo
some-
doing with this giant Charizard?
Right. Well, I've read Agents of Atlas books in the past.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew about this dragon, but for people that are new to Agents of Atlas, they're immediately gonna be like, "What the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?"
That's kind of how I reacted. I was like, okay, okay, we're going for, we're doing
Yeah.
dragons. All right, I'm in.
Oh, look at this. We got one. Safar Junaid. My favorite TV show, Lost. Favorite superhero movie, Thor. Ragnarok. Non-superhero, National Treasure. Okay, so we've got weird kind of mystery, adventure, and comedy. Give me a sec. I'm going to think on this one. Paper Girls is up there. Paper Girls is really high up there for you. I would say Paper Girls is really high on your list of comics you need to check out so far. It has a lot of those ticks on there. Oh, I love this challenge. I like the challenge. I like the challenge. It's fun to try to figure it out. I'm going to keep trying to come up with something. All right, I'm going to keep thinking on that one. I'm going to keep thinking on it. Right now, Paper Girls is my very first, like, on that, in that regard. It has all of those things, and then you get the extra '80s Amblin era kind of references as well. Okay, let's go to next on the list. We're getting really close to talking about X-Men, but let's see here. Did you check out Batman?
I did read Batman 76. So, Citizens of Bane, a continuation of like what's been happening and a few other issues. And because I'm not completely caught up with it, there is some stuff that is happening that I'm like unaware of how Flashpoint Batman, basically Thomas Wayne got there, but he's murdering everybody. Meanwhile, Catwoman has Bruce passed out on a couch in Paris, He must be in some sort of recovery. I don't know what has happened to him. And you have other characters from the Batman world basically like cannot go into Gotham City. If they go into Gotham City, Alfred will be killed. So you have Damian and Tim Drake who are just frustrated with the whole situation because, you know, crime and a lot of the villains have exited out of Gotham City, probably because of Flashpoint Batman killing everybody. At the same time, nobody from the Bat family can enter the city because they're worried that will then bring back everybody. And to sort of like, I don't know, they basically have Alfred at some sort of like a ransom, it sounds like. But that's the context of the other books. It just kind of feels like it's a fill-in issue. Nothing really happens. You know, it just kind of seems like, okay, cool, we're waiting for Bruce Wayne to come back out of like this coma that he's in, or I don't know what's happening. He's literally just sleeping on a couch. So I don't know what sort of injuries he sustained. You know he's going to get out of it. You know he's probably going to end up confronting Flashpoint Batman.
He's just going to appear in Gotham from half a world away,
and
unexplainably.
Well, the other thing I don't know is like, how did Flashpoint Batman get into this universe? Because I haven't read all of it, so I'm like, did Flash bring him over? Did he find a way in? Is it Bane pretending to be Flashpoint Batman? Like, I'm not aware. I don't know.
Good questions.
Lots of good questions.
I want to read.
I don't want to read 75 issues, but I don't know how long this arc is. I'm not sure how long.
This arc isn't that long,
Probably
but I think
not.
it's been building for a while
Yeah.
because Bane is one of the key factors in this build up.
So I'm like excited to read more, but I definitely need to understand sort of what the bigger picture is.
So far, I did read Knights Temporal from last week. I dug it. I thought it was pretty fun and a very different take on all that good stuff. I forgot to mention, I ended up reading all of last week's books.
You read all of them?
Yeah.
Nice.
I read all of them. Even though we didn't do the show together, I read all the books anyway.
Of course you did.
Arrow number 2 was really good. The art in this book is so fun. This is a great, like the art.
Oh.
This is from the Agents of Atlas. So there's a lot of, there was Swordmaster and now there's Arrow as well. They're putting out a lot of these single books to introduce these new characters. I think this one has the strongest art.
Oh, really?
It feels very manga and anime, but with Western style comics.
Yeah.
And it's strong.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
looking.
it's really great art and it moves. It moves. So yeah, it's a good book. It's fun.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot more insight into Arrow, who is a new character in Agents of Atlas. And like her power set and what she can do.
Yeah, this is definitely like an art style that you normally do not see in a Marvel comic book at all.
And I think it's better than Swordmaster. I was actually a little underwhelmed with Swordmaster.
Really?
Even though it had Shang-Chi and stuff, I didn't think it was a very strong book. This one, I think, like, the art alone is fucking rad. Fucking rad, man.
Red.
So next up on my list is it's Carnage. Okay, it's Donny Cates has been building for this for a while.
Yeah.
And usually when a Carnage book is coming out, I am rolling my eyes. I'm just like, give me a fucking break. I've read enough Absolute Carnages in my life. I've read enough Marvel issues of it's almost like Marvel Zombies. It's like, let's see what our heroes are like when they get the symbiote, you know, and they go crazy murder hobo.
Yeah.
It usually never fucking works. It
just frustrates you more than anything?
It just frustrates me. But Ryan Stegman and Donny Cates have been working together on Venom for so long.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to kill it.
Yeah.
And they do. They fucking kill it. They've been killing it on Venom for almost 2 years now, is it? Has it been almost 2 years or a year and a half? And Absolute Carnage is awesome. I love that they give you an introduction to everything that's led up to this with a little backstory on Null, the god where the symbiote comes from.
Really?
And why Carnage is about to do what he's doing, which is great because a lot of these event books that tie things together, you don't really know what's going on and you need a refresher. And they literally on page 1, here's everything you need to know. Here's a complete breakdown on where Null is, what's going on, and exactly why Carnage is doing what he's doing. And it's a simple setup. We've learned already through the Venom books that Null is asleep in a symbiote planet, but it's not really a planet. It is all of the symbiotes he created imprisoning him, keeping him dormant.
Oh, what the hell? And
Carnage believes that anytime a person inhabits a symbiote, that symbiote doesn't fully leave them. stains their DNA basically.
Gotcha.
It comes a stain on their DNA, and it connects them to the codex. And apparently, this codex is a way that all of the symbiotes used to be a part of this hive mind to communicate with Null, and the hive mind has been dormant. And Carnage believes that he collects the DNA strand and releases it from all these people who have ever touched a symbiote and been bonded with it. He can reconnect with Null and wake him up, and basically wake up God. And that's his whole thing. He wants to wake up God. So, yeah, that's the setup. And now it's Carnage going out and hunting all these people, which has been done so many times before, but it's in good hands. It's in patient hands. It's in people who understand how to write these kinds of stories. They're not just throwing nonsense at you. It's really well done. The art is killer. The setup is killer. There's some great Eddie Brock, Peter Parker moments in this too.
Chances of stories like this ever turning into a movie and or TV show?
Never.
That's what I figured.
That being said, Sony is weird as shit.
They're making Morbius into a movie.
Sony is weird as shit. So I want to say never, but then I think about Sony and how they're just kind of like, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They just signed this big overall deal with Lord and Miller, and if they're going to develop other Marvel stories that deal with the Spider-Man universe, maybe? I don't know. Jesus Christ. You tell your family you're doing a show, and my brother keeps texting me. He's in Europe trying to do his homework.
I'm working right now. I'm working.
Good Lord.
There's so many good moments in this book, though. It's an awesome read. And Donny Cates, I got to give him credit. He's the first person to ever give me Venom and Carnage and not make me just vomit.
Vomit? Okay.
It's usually just so pointless. Okay, I can't say that for Venom. I actually thought Flash Thompson Venom had some really good shit in it. It had substance.
Yeah.
So I want to thank him for making Eddie Brock matter. And this whole setup where he has a kid and the kid doesn't know that it's his dad. The kid thinks it's his older brother and doesn't know that Eddie Brock's actually his dad. He thinks it's his older brother and he's lying to the kid. Adds all these elements of all these layers of story.
That's fucked up.
Eddie had not used the symbiote since before War of the Realms. And the symbiote's been following him.
That's terrifying.
And waiting to like reconnect with him. And Carnage, okay, I don't know. I think maybe it was an episode I did with Malika before you and I were doing the show. When I was showing Malika the book once, Venom fought a dragon god, basically. That was like, Null had this symbiote dragon.
Amazing.
Had a symbiote dragon.
That's so sick.
That's what Carnage is wearing. He's wearing the symbiote that was the dragon god. So he's like,
God.
Just so crazy powerful. So the basics of this book is like, everyone's being hunted. Eddie knows he can't win. His symbiote, Venom himself, takes him to Peter Parker's house. Because it's like, we need all the help we can get. And you find out Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe has been working on a machine already to separate this strand of DNA.
Of course.
Because he's an evil son of a bitch and is definitely up to something nefarious. And because Peter's godson, little Normie, was in fact at the end of Dan Slott's run of Spider-Man, Norman Osborn got Carnage on him for a little bit. So Norman also has Carnage symbiote in his blood. Jesus. And it made Norman go freaking crazy. And he also put it on his grandson, who is Peter's godson.
Yeah.
So Peter takes his godson to Reed and is basically like, we need to fix him, to keep him from being hunted. And they're like, we don't want to try it on the kids first. You need to get me somebody else that we know Carnage is most likely to go after next. And they're like, Norman. So they have to go break Norman Osborn out of jail.
Oh my God.
And that's like the end of the book. So it's just setting you up for all these like
crazy moments.
Awesome, crazy moments.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin everything for you, so I'll stop clicking through the book.
Ooh.
It's a really great issue 1 to an event book.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It doesn't even feel like an event book, and that's what makes it great. It just feels like an issue of Venom.
Also, Zach, I'm going to stop clicking so I don't spoil it for you. And then he keeps clicking.
We're not.
Oh. I don't want to spoil it either, dude.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it again. I'm clicking through. They just see us. Just went through a couple pages of Paper Girls. It looks amazing. It is. It's so good. Can't wait for more recommendations. Awesome. Paper Girls is really good.
You know what would be cool? I think maybe like on Twitter, we should just make a list of like our top 5 that we read for the week. Of like, in case you missed Comics and Coffee, like here's the ones that we read that we loved.
Okay.
Because I feel like, we always talk about what we are going to read, but we never followed it up with what we actually did read and if we liked it or not. I think that could be fun.
Okay. I'm down.
I feel like I want to give more attention to Space Bandits and,
Yeah.
like I want more people to read that.
Well,
Oh, God.
we've got 30 minutes
This goddamn book.
to talk about X-Men. 30 minutes. You think we can fill all 30?
Are you kidding me? This book is ridiculous.
It's so crazy. So you talked about Powers of 10
Yeah.
last week.
Yes.
And so far, this is being so expertly crafted. Think about issue 1 of House of X and what that set up. Mm-hmm. It's almost like we're being Tarantino'd right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you
Kind
see
of,
all the
yeah.
stuff, and we were even questioning if that was actually Xavier. Now,
Oh,
it's no
100%.
question that it's Xavier.
And
It
the
is
way it's explained,
definitely
you're like,
Xavier.
oh shit, I get why he is like this.
Yeah, that's Xavier. And when we first seen that, we're like, this is so out of character
Yep.
for Charles. There's no way this could be him.
Mm-hmm.
But then now, at the end of book 3, you're like, that's Charles Xavier.
Also, this cover, I didn't actually look at it closely. When you read this issue, this cover is fucking
Genius. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good because it makes no sense at first. Then as you're reading it, you're like,
I was like,
"Fuck
I don't
yeah."
get it. And then you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's crazy.
So Powers of 10 definitely felt a lot different from House of X
Yeah.
number 1.
Yeah.
It takes place in the future, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in it. For a moment, did you not think that Pryor or Madeline Pryor was like jumped back in time to talk to Xavier when they first show her talking to him on the bench?
Not
Because everything was in the future.
Sure.
I, for a moment, thought she had been in the future too and jumped back in time because it was clear that she had information he didn't and he had never met her before.
Yeah, I
so I was
mean-
like, is she a time traveler?
some of it, like it was kind of leaning towards that, but also kind of leaning towards like, are we just exploring multiple timelines of like a
Moira.
parallel?
Why did I say Madeline? I'm sorry. I'm getting
Moira McTaggert.
Moira. I'm getting all my X-Men. There's so much lore drop, and I'm dyslexic. So thank you for sticking with me. Thank you.
But yeah, it was crazy because like, yeah, Powers of 10, we're establishing like X to the power of 0, power of 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, is this book gonna be just going through all these different timelines of what's happened? And then you get to this, and you just getting all the context and then understanding the bigger picture of what's been happening. I was just like, dude, this is mind blowing. Who sat in front of a whiteboard for 6 months and like plotted this shit out?
They're like, okay. No, really. It's gonna go here, here, and here. We're gonna start with this. It's just gonna be this. But you're not gonna know what that is until we get to book 3, and that's gonna be because we show 10 different life cycles. And at the end of that life cycle, it's gonna make everything that makes sense in number 2. But we're gonna preview that page number 2. We're gonna lead everybody astray. They're not gonna know what's going on. It makes total sense. Just keep paying attention. But then we're gonna draw this graph. We're gonna have the 10 different timelines on it. We're gonna leave out number 6 though. We gotta keep it interesting for everybody. I'm sure it'll be important later. Just keep reading. Don't worry about it.
That's how I felt.
It's nuts.
But it's so amazing to see so much work being put into a comic book. You're reading, you're going, this is a master class of like how to tell deep, rich stories with characters that are now this old. Like these are going to be 60-year-old characters or 70-year-old characters soon. And to do something so different and unique and fun and just like page turning, I mean, Powers of 10, going through and understanding the different timelines and just seeing, 10 years, 100 years, 500, 1,000. It was so interesting seeing how like the different societies and how they could work and function. But then going into this and you're just like, I would have never cared about Moira McTaggert as much as I do in this book.
Ever. And what you told me before the show started, I think, is a perfect example. We now know why Charles is Charles without ever having Charles' perspective in this entire book. All because, and you know what's funny?
That's
Hickman
amazing.
tweeted out a month before issue 1 came out, without dialogue, that panel set of him reading her
the
mind
reactions.
and him saying most important page in X-Men history. And now you get it.
Yeah.
And like he was even teasing us on Twitter.
Yeah.
And when you see it in Powers of 10, you're like, I don't get it yet. Like,
what's happening?
Why is this so important?
Yeah.
What does she know? And at the time, you think it's because she's from the future and he's about to learn about all this
What's
stuff. So you
happened,
think,
yeah.
oh, maybe that future will end up not happening because he's going to do whatever. But why would he lay it out like it does? So, oh God, it's so smart. And then to bring that back at the end of this issue, and now you have context for it, but to also make you so excited. This is a lesson in cliffhangers and story structure too, to make you so excited because it gave you so much in this issue, but still said, we came up with an idea that no one had ever thought of, that was like unheard of, but they don't tell you what the idea is. They just move forward.
No, and
maybe we'll find out what the idea is in issue 4. I don't know.
And it's just so mind-blowing how, like, every life cycle that Moira goes through is so detailed.
Maybe we should explain that. Okay, so
I'm just so like into this. It's crazy. Go.
I love going back. Also, these books are really fun to reread because there's stuff on page 1 that doesn't make sense to the end. If you can find it in you to survive, if you are worthy, then I will make you into something more than them, something eternal. Apocalypse. And like, what the? So I love this McTaggart setup. She's a normal girl, not a mutant. Just a human, lives a normal life, has kids,
dies at 76,
grandkids, dies at 76. But then, she keeps all of her memories, reborn. And at first I was a little confused. I was like, is she born into a new body? No, she's born into the exact same body in the past, but having lived that entire life. So she starts to believe, but she can't reveal herself.
Right.
You know, so she holds all this knowledge in.
She's special. Her parents know she's special. She knows. She doesn't learn how to walk. She knows how to walk. She just can't do it.
So she just holds it in. Now she realizes she's a mutant, basically. And it goes through all of these timelines of her life, but they're not really timelines.
I think 11?
Well, no. They said she will have up to 11.
That's right.
We're in number 10
now. That's right.
Which makes so much sense.
Yep. Powers of 10.
So much sense. We're in number 10 right now. So yes, Moira reincarnates, but into the same body in the past all over again. She's living the same life over and over again. And the way they break it down is so smart, talking about how she has to diverge. Like, if she does nothing, the same things happen in her life.
So now she's like going in each life, attempting to do something different of like when she meets Xavier, how she meets Xavier, what she studies, what she doesn't study, trying to cure the mutant gene, trying to not do that, working with other
thinking Xavier's a blowhard and not wanting anything to deal with him. My favorite is the timeline where she decides she's going to be anti-mutant.
Yup.
And the moment that she has with Destiny and Mystique is so fucking good.
Dude, and then Pyro, it's nuts. Like, reading this whole sequence was so crazy because it really made you think of like, how nuts would it be if you had the power to be reincarnated, and every time you try to stop an event, a futurist could see that, or someone who could see the future could see that and always knew to stop you. And like, you had to figure out how the hell to get around that. So then every time you're brought back, you try different things.
Yeah, I love that setup where Destiny is like, if you come back and you decide not to help your fellow mutants, I'll know. I'll fucking find you and I'll fucking kill you.
That's crazy.
You're like, oh shit. It's so good.
That's wild. It's so well done. It's so well done.
I've never thought Destiny was a cooler character than in that moment. And it's just so good. And then also the way it's like, and we're gonna make you remember this moment by burning you and making it as painful as possible, burning you to death.
She's like, Pyro, make her remember what it feels like to die. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. Being burned alive must be the worst thing in the world. That and drowning are like my two greatest fears in life. It's crazy. Yeah,
I love it. Such a gift of knowledge, and yet here you are using it to betray your own kind. It's a disease what we are, but I'm not trying to force it on anyone. I'm only trying to cure people who want it.
Yeah.
You think this stops at want? You think they'll let you keep this thing you've made? Do you have any idea how much they hate us? The humans will come for you, they'll break you, chain you, and make you their own. The mankind will use you, what you've done here to eliminate our entire race. I've seen the potential of your good works, and I do not care for them. How is it that you think you can stop me? And that's where she goes. She just breaks it
Monologues,
down.
and you're like, bro, this is intense.
Like, I will always know. And if you try to kill me before I kill you, I will see my end coming and prevent it.
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, like, the amount of forethought that has to go into this. Yeah, just like we're joking about all the, like, having a whiteboard, but you really do have to figure out, like, how does this work? How does this tie together?
Yeah.
How do we set this up and pay it off? Or even establishing, reincarnating her life. Great, if we say that all these things happen, do they have an effect, any issue later, or are we just using this to help tell our story?
I love, too, that she just lays out, like, here's what I can see for your destiny.
Yeah.
You have 11 lives. You think you have infinite lives. You only have 11.
Yeah.
And
if you...
now you're on a clock.
Yeah, and also if you die before your mutant power manifests itself, you die. Like, you won't come back. Because you won't have a power to come back.
But I also said, I see 10 lives, maybe 11, if you make the right choice at the end.
Right.
And we're in 10 right now.
Yeah.
So the timeline that X-Men exists in right now is timeline 10. And if she makes the right choice at the end, maybe she'll have 11. But what does that even mean?
Hell if I know, man.
It's so good.
Yeah, and then going through and breaking down of, like, this is what, this is what this means. Yeah. And there she gets fucking burned alive. It's crazy.
Megalo says this seems like a run you guys will be talking about for years to come. I think that's the plan. I mean, this is supposed to be a relaunch of the X-Men.
Well, and especially because this is a weekly comic and it's just jumping from House of X to Powers of 10, it allows us to keep that conversation going. And if at some point they choose to take this and in some way rework it into a TV show or something, like, oh my God. It might be too much for a TV show if you don't know X-Men, but God damn it.
I love this breakdown of each of her lives
so
she
good.
lived after that. And I know, did you also take pause whenever they skipped from 5 to 7?
What do you mean?
Well, they're like life 5.
Oh,
this
yeah,
happened,
yeah.
and then it goes from in Moira's 5th life.
Yep.
And then the next one is in Moira's 7th life.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, it's one of those books I want to take notes on. And I was like, in Moira's 7th life? What about her 6th life?
Yep.
What? Did I just miss something? Is that important? And then, of course, you get to the graph at the end, and 6th life is missing. I'm like, motherfucker!
Yep. Oh, and that's the other thing that I did love was the fact that, like, at the end of this, and, it's been happening with all the other issues, there's so much information outside of the actual artwork. And, yeah, there's a whole breakdown of the timeline of stuff. But I love this. Her eliminating the entire Trask family, thinking that was going to stop the Sentinels from being
and then realizing,
born, basically.
I also love that description that comes on this page right here.
Yep.
Artificial intelligence is like fire. It's a discovery, not an invention. All she succeeded in doing was stopping a Trask from being the first human to burn their hand. And then that's dope as shit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like
it's
mutants,
like a Sentinel transformer mutant.
Yeah.
It was wild.
The machines simply emerge at a certain point during societal and environmental evolution. So there is no stopping it.
Yep.
So I love that. Like I said, they just start breaking down her lives. And we have the life where she joined up with Magneto. We have the life where she joins Apocalypse, which is dope as shit.
It's so good. It's so good. It's ridiculous.
And creates Apocalypse's X-Men.
Yep.
But then there's this life. And that's where we go back to the scene from the last issue, and you're like, oh my God, now I get it.
Yeah, I mean, in this cliffhanger, there were moments where I was debating between, like, when they previously teased it of, like, okay, did Xavier get his mind wiped? Did she travel is she from an alternate? And, like, just being able to read through this and then get to this point, you're like, dude, what a payoff. And we're only 2 issues in.
3 issues. Well, 2 of this
2
one,
of this
3
and,
total.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, the payoff of showing this scene again after all the context had such weight to it. And usually if you were just reprinting pages in a comic book, it would be like, what are you doing?
Been there, done that.
But because the structure of the story, it makes this moment now completely seen. Like, it's all about perspective. Your perspective of this moment in the last book had very little meaning.
Now you see what he's seen. What he is seeing in this moment. And you're like, damn. Now issue 1 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, now you're like, Charles is doing something crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that she says we had to do something that no one had ever thought of. is like, what is happening?
I got to the end and I was like, wait, no. This can't be it. There's got to be
I
more.
love it. I'm here. I've always been here. Moira 10. I'm betting that's Moira 10.
So good.
So we get this great graph.
This was awesome.
Year 13 mutant manifestation.
Yeah.
So
But
she
look-
always gets her mutant manifestation at
But
13.
look what's missing.
Life 6. I'm sure that's fucking important. What happened in Life 6? What happened in Life 6?
Wild.
Why you keep that out? You son of a bitch. But yeah, it breaks down exactly everything that fucking happens.
It's so good.
And the constants.
And honestly, like, a comic book should never feel obligated to have to over-explain what's happening in its world. But the fact that they're taking the extra steps to really make sure that you have a full, complete understanding of at least of what they've revealed, that you understand completely what's going on. So when you get to the next issue, you're not questioning what's happening. Nope, I got all the context in the first 3 issues of this entire run. Now when I go to the next issue, great. I have what I need, and I can go to the next issue and just like jump into the world again.
You know what I like, though, is this graph fills in a lot for us.
Exactly.
So when we see her sitting on that bench, we now know this is at 17 years old
Yeah.
when she meets Xavier. Mm-hmm. So we're not in that moment, though. I think it's easy when you're reading the book to start confusing it with like, okay,
Totally.
then everything we're seeing must have happened right after that.
Yeah.
So now the question is, why does Xavier wait so long to act on this?
Yeah.
And then I started wondering, like, are we actually in year 10? What's going on? Are we in year 6? Do we not even know?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Because it fills you forward, and it's like year 25 of
Yeah.
her 10th life.
Yep.
Year 27, she marries Joseph McTaggert again. So, like, and wins the Nobel Peace Prize. Moira, Xavier, Magneto schism at 47 years old. And then at 50 years old, fakes her death. So where we are right now, Xavier believes her to be dead. Year 52, House of X. I don't know if Xavier believes her to be dead.
Sure.
It just says Moira fakes death.
Yeah.
Share at Golem. And then the genocide in Genosha. So this is we're to believe. We're supposed to believe that she's on life 10 right now, and that's where we are in our story. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know. It's so hard to tell.
I feel like I can't trust this book, and I'm just so sucked into the story that I kind of don't care. It's hard.
Oh, Hickman said 49 and 50 should be swapped. So genocide at Genosha was at year 50. Moira faking death was at year 49.
Wait, why is that?
I don't know. I don't know if it matters.
Interesting.
That's what I'm thinking, Eridance. Maybe we're on life 6 right now. But the thing is, this is the only timeline that says year 52, House
Yeah.
of X. Which we already know House of X is exactly what they call
Right.
Krakoa.
Yeah.
So that's the House of X. So I don't know, man. Obviously, life 6 is important. It has some sort of meaning behind it all.
I mean, you don't leave it out and you're just like, nah,
Yeah, it's very
fine.
purposeful. It's very
fine.
purposeful.
God
Yeah.
damn this comic book.
God. So I'm like, where is she now? Where's
Yeah.
Moira now? Why, if Xavier was told all these things at the age of when she was 17 and he was probably in his mid-20s
Yeah.
at Oxford, Xavier's been holding this secret for how long? And why is Xavier just now acting on it? Is it because the genocide at Genosha?
Yeah.
If that happened just 2 years ago, what leads him to this? When was Xavier able to walk again?
Right.
What the fuck is he wearing Cerebro in his head? Like, there's so many blanks that we still have to fill in.
We're only on the 3rd issue of this entire run.
I know. We still don't know why Krakoa is able to just regrow
Right.
mutants. Like, we still don't know if that's our Scott and Jean in issue 1,
Yep.
or if it's a clone.
Yeah.
We learned in one of those issues that the Sentinel program, the Sinister program.
Yeah.
I think it was the last issue, Powers of
Yeah.
10. We learned about the Sinister program that was making mutants.
Yep. God damn it.
What is going on?
What I think that's the interesting thing too about seeing Moira coming back, life after life after life, and that imagery is reflected by what's seen in the first issue with Scott and Jean. So I was like, great, are they can't be reincarnated, right? Then they must be clones, right? But do we even really know? No, we don't know anything.
This is a really funny theory. And by funny, I mean it would be crazy. Zone Fighter J says Sinister put Moira's genes in everyone, and everyone has extra lives.
Oh my god.
They do say that Sinister made everyone that's in, like, all of the characters you meet in Powers of 10 were made by Sinister, which is crazy.
I guess that wouldn't make my Cyclops gene theory that crazy then. I mean, maybe at some point we're going to find out that all these characters were in some way reincarnated again and again and again, and they're learning from the past and learning from the
I don't know,
villains.
and that's why I love
But I feel like that'd be overwhelming, though.
That's why I freaking love this Hickman run. Is I don't know what's going to happen next. Every issue so far has just gone
Yep.
so far, like taking a hard turn that I
Yeah.
could not expect was going to take.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to how we thought issue 1 was working, and then you just read this issue, you're like, I can't even believe this is the same series, and
Yeah.
that this actually makes sense and ties
Yeah.
together, because I never would have predicted that's where this was headed.
No.
And,
No. It's
that's my
wild.
favorite part. And that's what I love about good stories, that I can't even imagine where they're going to go. I want them to be smarter than I can imagine.
Yeah.
I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I told Zach, I said, because he asked me, did you read House of X yet? And I'm like, no, man, that has to be the last thing I read every week, because if I read that first, I'm not going to be able to pay attention to what's happening in all the other books that I'm reading, because it's just so dense. You have to give it 100% attention, and you need to read in between the lines, around the images, like in the margins everywhere.
Everywhere.
You got to read anywhere where there's writing.
I like this. Devaro31 says the X-Men died at Genosha and they've all been reincarnated. Like if Krakoa,
Yeah.
if he just reincarnated the X-Men.
I mean, I don't think it's that far-fetched, considering we've now seen...
None of it's far-fetched.
You know, especially because now we've seen multiple characters get reincarnated or reborn or something or grown. I don't know.
I need to go back and read Powers of 10 again.
I know.
That's the thing. Every time I read one issue,
I want to go back
feel
and
like I
read
have
the
to
other
go
one.
back and read
Yep.
the other one again and see if it fills anything in.
By the time we get to issue 12, we're going to reread issues 1 through 11.
Dude,
everything.
that's what happened to me every time I reread New Avengers and Avengers from Hickman.
Yeah.
In single issue reading, it was really hard to track sometimes. I go back and I read the whole thing all at once, and I'm like, oh my God, I missed so much.
Yeah.
There's so much there.
Because you get so much more context to a lot of things that are happening. I'm sure, honestly, if you went back and you now reread all 3 of these issues back to back to back, you would probably find stuff that you're like, God damn it, that's what that was.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
I love some of the stuff that happens in these other timelines. It's really fun to imagine.
Yeah. The what ifs or the alternates.
Yeah. I love Moira and Apocalypse form the X-Men. Apocalypse enslaves Sinister. And then Apocalypse War begins.
Yep.
Okay, so here's something that I'm having a hard time with.
What do the arrows mean?
These arrows make it look like unknown time.
Yeah.
They always clearly state when she died.
Yeah.
Why is her death not labeled here?
Well,
Is it
then
one
there-
more? No, it's not. So, like, her death isn't clearly labeled
Yeah.
during the Apocalypse War.
Well, 5 is interesting because what does it say? She's injured, she's in a coma, so there's like time that passes by where events seemingly occur, but then she dies. So it's like,
Fedior
are events
says-
happening in 9 and 10 that we haven't been exposed to yet?
Oh, wait. It says, next page answers that. You can see where the arrows lead on the next page. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know, really?
I mean, these black arrows...
Maybe that's where you find out
There
the
are
outcome?
black arrows that go to House of X2 this issue.
Yeah.
So this is Life 10. Yeah, the black arrow. But where does that red arrow lead? Like, what's going on in this Apocalypse War? She had to have died to be reincarnated to be in this life, but they don't show us the end of her life.
Yeah. I have a feeling once we get all 12 issues, we're going to look at this again. We're going to go, oh my God, we missed. This is what we missed. This is what it was leading towards.
Uberbaldi says the red issues are lives 9 and 6. But this issue's also red.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's why I was saying, I was telling Zach, I was like, I wonder why these 3 issues are highlighted in red.
I don't know. Maybe we'll know when we get there. I don't know.
We'll find out someday.
I don't know. Ah, I love how much it makes my head hurt. So, on that note, I can just say, check out this book.
Both runs.
Obviously, X-Men is, as Hickman and Marvel said, Hickman was going to redefine X-Men. He's doing it.
Yep.
He's doing it. And that's so much bravado, so much like confidence to say you're going to do that, but then to fucking deliver on it.
Yeah. To exceed expectations and take people on all these twists and turns. I'm like, bro, this is wild.
I love comic books, y'all. I love comic books, and this book is the first book in a really long time. I'm treating it like a movie premiere. Every Wednesday night,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, midnight.
It's like the episode of a new
downloading.
new episode of
I gotta read it as quick as I can. So, thank you guys so much for joining us today on Comics and Coffee. Make sure to hit us up on Twitter. Tell us what you're reading this week. Comment in the YouTube section, comments below about what's your favorite TV show and what's your favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And I will try to recommend for you, or your favorite other film. I'll try to recommend a comic book you should check out. And I do the same for Adam all the time. And he still hasn't read Mighty Thor, and I'm going to smack him across the head for it. But thank you all so much.
It's way up there.
It's on the fucking... You have my Amazon login.
Well, see, here's the thing. It always logs me out. And you weren't here for 5 days.
You're going to make me dig it out, a hardcover out of this book. So I'm going to have to get on a fucking ladder. I'm going to have to go up there, and I'm going to have to dig. I didn't label those. When we moved, so many people... Actually, I bet those Thor books sold in our yard sale.
God damn it.
Those books sell.
Yeah.
They sell. They're beautiful.
Well, I have that Chromebook on my
1, 2,
desk.
3, 4,
Or no, Lucas
5,
took
6,
it.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 long boxes up there, and I sold over $2,000 worth of comic books in that yard sale. Can you believe that? That yard sale paid for our move.
Bro, you got to go through my comics and tell me what I have.
Okay.
I know I got some stuff.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching Comics and Coffee. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.